how he's talking about, the growth of the players that are on his team, how he's talking about the growth of, Cole Kmet, how he's talking about his own personal growth, right? And Coach T with a really good comment here saying, pull that over here so I can read it. And then, man, I got like 3 screens going on. Got my dual screen action. No, saying it lets you know how much leeway he actually has in this offense. He can't check out of plays, out of certain play calls to other simple play calls, right? It lets you know kind of where they have Justin Fields at right now. Like, hey, listen, these are the plays we're going to run. These are the plays that we're going to do, right? There's still a development process that's in place here. But think about what we're seeing here. We're seeing the best quarterback play that we've seen in Chicago, and he's developing. And the people around him are developing. And the play caller is developing. And the people that are going out here offensively that you're adding in just to do little things, right? Little motions, little different things, pre-play. They're developing. Your offensive line, I know it hasn't looked great most of the season, but it surprisingly is better than the beginning of the season. Developing. You are a developing team. You're a team trying to figure out what the heck is going on. You are a team that came into this season, and we're 10 weeks into the season now. And again, right, like I'm not the one that's going to sit here and say draft capital is the answer, and we're going to do, right, like that. At the end of the day, the Detroit Lions beat you. That's a bad loss for the Chicago Bears. That's a loss that, to me, right, probably dictates where the rest of the season goes. If you win that game and you go on a little win streak here and you feel good going through, right, and then all of a sudden you're looking up and you got 5-6 wins and you're like, oh, end of the season might not be that bad. We might be competing for something, right? Like that's a different situation than where we're at right now, where now you're 3-7. We just lost to the Detroit Lions. I think that was a loss that the Bears thought that they were going to win. That probably changes most of the mentality of a lot of the players that aren't going to be a part of this team long term in that building. And that's an issue, right? Like, and the Bears were very uncharacteristic yesterday, especially with a lot of the play calls and with a lot of the penalties and things like that. Like they played their worst game of the season versus the Detroit Lions, and that's crazy to say because we played a lot of bad games this year. But I think that there's still, right, like when you see that growth, when you see that, okay, Justin is doing this, and now all of a sudden we're adding Cole Kmet into there. Cole Kmet's starting to figure his game out. What we say coming into this season, the best weapon for a young quarterback is a tight end that can be there to bail you out, a tight end that can be there to make plays for you, a tight end that can just be that big body over the middle. Finally, we're seeing Cole Kmet start to be that. Haven't seen Chase Claypool get worked into this offense as much in a couple of weeks. I think Chase Claypool only played on 30% of the snaps on Sunday, so there's probably still a little bit of okay, he doesn't have the full grasp of the playbook yet. We're going to work him into some plays where he does have some better grasp and stuff like that. But didn't utilize Chase Claypool outside of one designed end around, wasn't it? It was an end around, I think, to Claypool that he ended up. Maybe not, man. Maybe a short pass or a screen pass. I don't remember. I gotta see that play again. But only one target, right? Caught the one target he got. Tried to get big. You know what I mean? But you're seeing, right, not just Justin Fields develop, but you're seeing some of the pieces that are young pieces on this team. You're seeing some of the pieces that are the pieces that we've been looking at for years and saying, what the heck's going on? I mean, Cole Kmet's been the tight end 4 years now. He's got a 4-year degree at tight end U at this point. You know what I mean? Like, so you're starting to see some of those connections be made, some of those. And again, right, that's just another step in the process. This season, right? There's no Super Bowl happening this season. There's more than likely no playoffs happening this season, because, like I said, I think a lot of the guys in that locker room are probably outside of the guys that are going to be there long term, outside of the guys that are going to be there, throughout the duration of Justin Fields being there, and Flus really likes these guys. Most of these guys you're probably going to see gone, right? Like what Mike Ditka say, he's like, we've got he's saying training camp. He's like, hey, I want to let you know we're going to the Super Bowl this year. Most of y'all won't be there. That's how the rest of this season is going. That's how the rest of this season is going, right? Don Bird talking about the Bears have been undisciplined since y'all wide receivers punching people on the field last year. Yeah, okay. Don hasn't watched any Bears games this year, so I would expect him not to. This is a whole different regime, Don. Whole different regime. But to me, right, this is a game where, or this is a moment to look at this Bears team as, okay, now we're seeing the pieces start to fit. Now, what pieces can we add in, right? Like now you're seeing some key pieces pop up. Now you're seeing some key pieces start to make plays. Now you're seeing some key pieces start to grow. Pieces that we didn't think were going to grow. We didn't think Cole Kmet was going to be a major part of this offense 3 weeks ago. We thought he was going to be what he is. Listen, he's going to be out there. He's going to block for you. That's kind of how they're using him. They're not really getting him out there to make plays. Justin Fields and Cole Kmet have absolutely built a nice rapport. They've started to find each other a lot more. Right? They've started to figure out, okay, this is how this play, okay, this is where I need to find you. You heard Justin, right? Justin said, we didn't hit on that play, the deep ball that he hits Cole with, we didn't hit on that play all practice. But in the moment, they're figuring it out. That's something to focus in on. That's something to me that you can look at and you could say, okay, now we're starting to build a team. That's what I'm excited about with the Bulls, or with the Bears. That's what I'm excited about. That it's not just, is the quarterback good? It's about, are we building a team? It's not about, is the quarterback good? It's about, are we building an entire team? Are we building a football team? It's not just Justin Fields. Is he good? Are we seeing development from our football team? I think that we can say yes. Even in a bad loss. And here's the thing, right? This is the one thing that nobody wants to talk about. You don't get to the good wins without dealing with the bad losses. You don't get to the good wins without dealing with the bad losses. You don't get to the big playoff wins without dealing with the tough playoff losses. You think this is the last loss we're going to take? We got a long way to go, Chicago. We got a long way to go. We got to even get to the playoffs. We got a long way to go. And you don't get there without going through these lumps and bruises. Because you can't take that next step if you've never taken the step before. This season, you're taking the steps. This season, you're getting the lumps. Justin Fields is dealing with a lot of we did this, we could have done this, we could have made this, we could have done. Yeah. And you know what the one thing I love about Justin is? Justin's playing through. Justin's playing through. He's playing through the moments. He's playing through the penalty calls. He's playing through. Okay, all right, that's a penalty. All right, let's go to the next one. Don't worry about it. We got to get to the next one. You hear that with how he talks, right? And that's the thing about it. The Chicago Bears aren't just developing their quarterback. They're building a team. And that is what I like about this Bears team that we're seeing grow here.